the idea of running around, rolling in some mud, dealing with some mosquitoes and a forest at 3 a.m. at the time seemed appealing.
Welcome to Tipsy Talk with Natalie Dormer. We have a bit of champagne.
Oh, go on then.
You may as well.
You've twisted my arm.
I have to say, when I was pouring Amy's wine, my hand was shaking quite badly.
I bet it was. My hand would be shaking if I was pouring Amy Schumer a glass of wine. She's a great chick.
She's accustomed to it as well, so you want to make sure that you're doing it right as well.
Cheers.
Well, cheers.
Sláinte.
Sláinte, thank you very much. Oh, that's lovely. I do like to do these at the end of the day with people when they can sort of chill and have a drink and relax.
No, it's good. It's been a great day. It's always fun to promote something that you've had fun doing. Mm-hmm. It helps when you don't have to lie.
Do you ever have to lie, Natalie?
I've been very lucky with the projects that I've done in the last few years. It doesn't happen.
How diplomatic of you. It's worse on the other side when you're interviewing someone and
you hate the project.
You maybe didn't like it that much, so you try and focus on the positive.
Okay.
But
so if you don't ask me anything about the movie, then I'll know how
you'll
you
know.
felt.
I'll be completely honest, Natalie. I haven't seen it because I'm too afraid.
Oh, you make me laugh.
Genuinely?
No, I'm a scaredy cat too. I'm not very good at horror movies either as an audience member.
I'm fine with like blood and gore. Like Tarantino's not a problem. But the psychological horror, I can make it myself.
Right.
But I can't.
But you can't watch it and consume it. The reason I took the job was because of that psychological element that you're talking about. Because I feel like we all have someone that if you got a phone call in the middle of the night, like my character does, saying your sister or your best friend or your lover or your parent had gone into this forest that was famed for people going in there with the intention of hurting themselves and not coming out again. I feel like we all have someone who we would go halfway around the world for, and we all have like inner demons that we like to repress and not think about. And the forest reflects your own inner demons back at you. I thought that was an interesting psychological thing to explore.
It was filmed quite chronologically, so you were literally being, sort of like Bruce Willis in Die Hard, being sort of dirtied as you went through the film, being soiled. So by the end, were you just this sort of sudden mess of like
completely,
dirt?
100%. You never shoot in sequence. It's unheard of, I'm sure you know that.
Yeah.
So it was quite a gift to be given that opportunity to shoot in chronological order. But it also really helped me with the sort of psychological deterioration of her as well. And it also meant that when the bags under my eyes were getting bigger and darker, my makeup artist was like, don't need to cover the bags anymore.
It wasn't like, okay, we're going for first day again, you're fresh, you're feeling good.
Exactly. It's like I became a shell of myself.
So you've done theatre in the past, so to kind of go through the story as a narrative, as a chronological narrative, is natural to you.
You're right, it was actually very similar to my experience on stage, that it was like a cardiovascular exercise.
And I believe you've co-written your next feature.
With a fellow Irish person.
So I believe.
Who I've been hanging around with for the last 9 years. I keep trying to get rid of him, but he keeps hanging around.
Finally just got engaged, figured what else are we gonna do?
We're hoping to go with In Darkness in the next handful of months, and it's another psychological thriller set here in London. So I'm be playing a blind woman who hears a murder in the apartment above her. Ooh. So it's kind of a nod to Hitchcock.
I was about to say that sounds very Hitchcock.
It seems a bit Rear Windowy.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony was a massive cinephile, and he really gave me a massive cinema film education, actually, because like you said, I come from the theatre world, and we sort of introduced each other to our respective worlds. And so we've co-written this together, which I don't necessarily advise for anyone who wants to stay in a healthy, happy relationship.
I wasn't gonna ask, but
what doesn't break you makes you stronger.
So it didn't break you.
It didn't break us.
No, but maybe almost.
But who knows what shooting together will be. He's only directed me once before on the Hosier video.
Another Irishman.
We're
everywhere.
Are you noticing a motif here? I like
people.
the Irish. If he can survive directing me kissing, snogging like 4 or 5 other men, I lost count.
Jack mentioned to me, actually having spoken to you before Christmas, that you said you were spending your 20s sort of on screen and acting, and now moving into your 30s, you want to kind of get behind the camera and do more of the actual making of the film.
The people I'm closest to in my life work the other side of the camera. That's why I enjoyed playing Cressida so much, because often when I'm at a dinner party, I'm not hanging out with the actors, I'm hanging out with the producers and the DPs and the camera operators. I've already been exposed to those kind of conversations probably more than your average actor is. And I kind of get a kick out of it, to be honest. As you were saying to me before the camera started rolling, I think it's a very interesting time in entertainment and filmmaking. Differentiating factors are lessening. and they're really good scripts. Sort of, there's tide is turning in equality and all the rest of it. The way everyone consumes their entertainment as well is changing. So it's an exciting time to be part of the industry.
Yeah, exciting to kind of be on both sides and to be able to do that, to have that luxury is really lovely. And you mentioned Cressida and you mentioned Marjorie Tyrrell. Are you excited to go back? Is it sort of, yes, get back in the silk skirts, or do you miss her when she's gone?
Yeah, she's not in silk skirts at the moment. I went from rolling around in the mud and the grime in the forest to rolling around in the mud and the grime in a dungeon in Westeros. And it's also fun to see Marjorie a little bit out of control. That's fun as an actor, just to play completely, oh my God, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
that's
you can curse on this film by this time.
Oh, great. It's great to play someone who's got a fucking clue what they're gonna do. That airs at the end of April. We finish shooting it before Christmas. So you'll see Marjorie dirty and rough looking in that dungeon trying to damnedest to get out.
And I've read up to the end of the books, but now I don't know.
No, we're
for the
all
first time, I don't know what's happening.
Level playing field, right?
Scary. Yeah, I'm so used to being ahead of my friends now. I know who dies. I know what a red wedding is. And now I haven't got a clue, and it's scary. As well as that, obviously, the Hunger Games. Was that sort of your first foray into big blockbuster feature films, and how was that transition?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can really get bigger. And once you've been a part of an ensemble, the likes of Woody Harrelson and Jennifer Lawrence and Julianne Moore and Stanley Tucci. I got to work with Stanley again in Patient Zero, which will be coming out later this year. Matt Smith and I.
Exciting
I'm excited about how that's going to turn out. Like all of this stuff, it always how it gets cut and put together.
Of course.
You can only give so much on the day, and then you hand it over.
And hope for the best.
And hope for the best.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on, and we were talking just a moment ago, as you said before the cameras were rolling, about how great the industry is at the moment for women in particular. Like, we're sort of seeing so many role models emerging, and just women. I think on and off camera is the bigger thing that I'm seeing, that they're sort of more involved in the writing, directing process, etc.
I mean, there's lots of women that I respect in the industry, both sides of the camera, and far back to, Betty Davis, all the way, if you read some of her quotations, it's like they're relevant today.
Yeah.
I think the very fact is that we're talking about it now, and it's not just gender equality, it's, ethnicity, it's sexuality, it's just about having proportional representation in our storytelling. It's not even about saying we need more female writers, although of course we do. We just need people to be brave to, change the John to Jane. I honestly think sometimes it's that simple. You don't need to write about having babies. You don't need to write about shoes.
In fact, could you not?
Could you not? And not hit those stereotypes.
Could you just write a character and then decide whether
just go, oh, you know what, maybe. I mean, I think that's what happened in Sicario, the Emily Blunt. I
heard that. I don't know if it's a myth.
I don't know if it's a myth, but if Denis Villeneuve turned around and said, let's just make the character female, because that's what it is. Just to be interchangeable. It's about the personality, it's about the human being. And Alma Coyne in The Hunger Games, played by Julianne Moore, very easily could have been a man. Cressida could have very easily been a man. So I think we know we've really made it when it's almost gender irrelevance, as opposed to, do you know what I mean?
I heard that happened with, I think, Ripley in Alien.
Really?
I think she was supposed to be a man.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Because it was 80s, it was like action hero, it was very much that
But that would explain why the role is so fleshed out and three-dimensional, In
a time when female roles weren't.
Well, yeah, especially that decade. Yeah, so maybe we need more of that. Just switch the John to Jane.
You've got a lot coming up.
Try and have a life in there somewhere.
I was going to say, how do you juggle that with your personal life?
I have really understanding friends.
Good. Are they kind of in the industry, or do you have people outside of the industry that you can just go and chill with and not talk about?
Most of my friends are old friends, not from the industry at all.
So that must be lovely in your relationship as well, because as much as you joke about it is difficult to work with someone when you're also romantically involved with them, it must be nice to be able to come home at the end of the day and understand what each other have been doing and talk about being on set, and for them to get it as well.
Yeah, there is a vernacular and there is a currency there that we can understand each other's jobs and what each other do. But let's see how we fare I don't know if we'll be talking to each other after he's been directing me all day and then we come home. We might have to have a leave it at the door policy.
And I've even been there just with friends. You're kind of on a shoot for a week and you're like, all right, I'll see you in 3 weeks, yeah? Let's just sort of take a break.
Are you telling me I need to move out for the time we're shooting?
Maybe just separate rooms or something. Maybe just put him on the couch for a few nights. Well, good luck juggling it all.
Thank you. And you, by the sounds of things.
Thank you for
Cheers.
For sharing a glass of champagne with me and for being here today. Good luck with the film.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
It would be really funny if we now cut to us. We were crying our makeup off. Why didn't he know me?
It's just I checked him 4 times.
I feel like I'm gonna sneeze.
Do it.